Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, She, Her Literate. I want you all to know that I have the literal jankiest video setup right now. It's like a backpack against the window with a sweatshirt on it, with a notebook on it, with the phone camera on it. And I am filming like this because, as you can tell, I am not at home. I am in a hotel room in Houston, actually, and I would show you the view outside, but unfortunately it is like a giant parking lot and it is not that cute. But today we are going to do kind of a new type of episode. I have done a lot of deep dives into and comparisons of books. I've looked at themes and character development and some literary analysis light, I should say. But today we're going to do what may or may not be a series, but it is, does this book deserve 1 star before and opinions before and after a conversation with the author? So it might not always be that specific format because I know that, authors are very precious with their time, and as they should be, and not all of them want to talk to me. But I was lucky enough to talk to Sarah Kendzior, who is a journalist, about her most recent book, They Knew: How a Culture of Conspiracy Keeps America Complacent, and I have some thoughts. I originally chose this book because it was referenced in Naomi Klein's Doppelgangers, which was a book that I really, really enjoyed and highly recommend. So I gave myself the challenge of trying to read and consume every single book or movie that was referenced in Doppelgangers. I have made great headway so far. She does do a pretty extensive literature review, so I am about halfway. And so I assigned this book to my book club because they sounded interested, and here's what I thought it would be about. I thought that They Knew would be a book about the history of conspiracy theories, why American culture is so conducive, such a fertile ground for conspiracy theories, and how our American politics has started to hinge on the conspiracy theory and how we've seen them acted upon, often in violent ways. Think about QAnon, things like that. I was mistaken. I will not take all the blame. I think there was some mild gaslighting by the blurb summary, which made it sound like it would be a much more comprehensive overview of the subject. The best way that I can describe this book is by splitting it up into 2 parts. The first part is a little bit of what I wanted. It talks about how we need to engage with conspiracy theorists because they are often just looking for information. If the left and Democrats and liberals do not give theorists the information that they need or the transparency or tell them, I don't know the answer, they go looking elsewhere on the internet or whatever resources are available to them, and they often end up in some dark corners of the web, like a QAnon forum, some, 4chan site. That was great. I wish that there had been some more actionable feedback about what to do when you talk to a conspiracy theorist. I know that there are some people in my family that I would love to deprogram, who think things that I personally think are like a little bit delulu. But the book did not have that information. The second half of the book was pretty much a tirade about Donald Trump and the GOP and the political right, as well as liberals and everyone. My main issue with the book was the language that was used. That's not true. One of my main issues with the book was the language that was used. I thought it was very sensational, hyperbolized, OTT, over the top. There were some paragraphs that I thought were a little cuckoo, like when the author talks about a future that she says she is sure is coming, where the coasts separate, the South secedes, and her home state of Missouri is this nation state kind of left in the lurch. She uses sentences like, I hope, reader, that in the future you still have the ability to vote, which makes it sound like I'm reading The Handmaid's Tale. It's just hard for me to take that type of writing seriously as a journalistic endeavor or as an academic work. I don't know if I was her primary audience, but I was able to talk to her, which I think was really, really interesting. And I wrote down some of my thoughts. My main thoughts about the interview with the author were that she was very charismatic, she was very personable, and she seemed to really code switch from the language that she used in the book. Like I said before, a lot of the language that she used in the book was pretty extreme, and she did not really talk that way at all when she was talking to us. She even said some almost optimistic things, whereas the entire book felt so pessimistic and like, you know, there was a huge battle against false information that had already been lost because of the cabal of elite pedophiles that formed the kleptocratic regime that is American government. I kid you not, those are all words that were in the book. Unfortunately, that made me even more confused. I asked her questions like, who is this book for? What is the audience? What do you hope that this book achieves? What is the through line of this book? What is the main message of this book? And I felt that Sarah gave me pretty vague answers, probably on purpose because this was not a paid interview. She probably was very well trained, and I mean that like complimentarily from doing book tours and talking to real press. So she just read back the summary of the book that was on the like in our flap or whatever the blurb was that was on the back. I asked her as well about her past dissertation on dissidents in Uzbekistan against the Soviet Union and how that led her to her writings today. And she did talk about herself, you know, pretty frankly and forthrightly, which I was very appreciative of. And I do think that this subject matter is really important. I just did not feel that this book was a complete or helpful piece of work. It was definitely not what I was looking for. I did not find a very good through line. I did not find a very good main message in it, and I found little to no actionable insights. So unfortunately, I will continue to give this book 1 star. Let me know if this is a series that you guys would be interested in seeing. I don't know how many authors that I will be able to lay my hands on, but maybe in the future I will just have did this book deserve 1 star, my opinion, and then maybe after I've discussed it with an expert or who wasn't the author, or, you know, one of my friends who is literary, like I have some English teacher friends. But I had fun not reading this book. I had fun discussing this book with my book club over pizza. We had a very great discussion about, you know, what is the truth? Who can you trust? Are you anti or pro institution? And I recommend that you all go home and think about that because those are important questions. And please don't forget to vote, because if there's anything that this book made me scared of, it was the upcoming election. Okay, have a great rest of your week. I forgot what day it was for a second. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye. Okay, I will take some, you know, pan views of Houston just to show you what I'm looking at. This is a ginormous parking lot. And over there is a reservoir. I do not know what direction I'm looking, but I don't know, looks kind of nice. Lush, extremely flat. Look at that horizon. We are not in California anymore, Toto.